Chapter 4. Kala held a tissue over her chin. The throbbing pain subsided as she slumped into the waiting cab. She dumped her carry-on in the adjacent seat. How far to the hotel, Adlon? How long? 20 minutes? Are you okay, miss? Yes, thanks. She checked for messages. None. The cab driver swerved the Mercedes into lunchtime traffic. Kala reclined on the leather seats as the taxi cruised past the Kaiser Wilhelm Gedächtniskirche, the memorial church at Breitscheidplatz. The damaged tower stretched against the blue sky, a permanent reminder of war destruction. Savoring the warm breeze that blew through the taxi, Kala laid her head back, forgetting the pain from her chin. They continued past Checkpoint Charlie, the former Berlin Wall crossing point between East and West. By the time they'd driven back toward the former eastern part of the city, it was almost 3:00 local time. Mercedes pulled up in front of Hotel Adlon on Unter den Linden Boulevard, facing Pariser Platz, a space that hinted at the grandeur of the Prussian capital. Kala collected her belongings and paid the driver. Danke schön. She stepped out onto the pavement above the grand entrance of the hotel. Brandenburg Gate stood to the left. Across the street, the sidewalk was home to several official buildings, including embassies. Cafes served late lunches, baked goods, and hot drinks. Kala could almost smell the Butterkuchen cakes, Eierkuchen pancakes served with lemons and powdered sugar, and sweet dough dumplings, the Berliner Ballen. Seated cafe customers basked in the sun, sipping coffee, reminding Kala of her hunger. She set a hand on her stomach and steered through the double doors, clutching her bag as she strode toward the reception desk. Guten Tag, smiled the receptionist. I have a reservation under Kala Kress. The woman checked her screen. Aha, Frau Kress. You're in the Linden suite. Suite? Yes, one suite for Kala Kress, reserved by Allegra Driscoll. Has Frau Driscoll already checked in? The woman hit several keys on the keyboard. Let me see. Yes, she arrived yesterday. Kala thanked the woman for her room card and steered toward the elevators. The Baroque-styled Linden suite spared no luxury for its exclusive guests. April's sun peered through the vast windows of the corner suite, with a view onto Unter den Linden. Garden-fresh white lilies and yellow roses arranged in a magnificent bouquet on the coffee table, and a chilling champagne bottle awaited her arrival. The room reflected the appetite of Prussian kings for design. After the porter gave her a quick tour of the room, she inspected the separate bathroom and adjacent living space while he waited at the door, ready to leave. Will that be all? Kala ran a finger over her clotting wound. Thanks. Do you have a first aid kit? The porter moved to the bathroom and produced one. He set it on the table in the living room. She tipped him a handful of euro coins. Thank you. I think I have everything now. Kala closed the door behind him. The pain from her accident resurfaced. She grabbed a ripe plum from the fruit basket and bit into its skin before checking her phone. No new messages. It had been over 3 hours. Was Allegra okay? She threw the pit in the wastebasket and picked up the first aid kit. With one hand on her chin, she located the antiseptic and a small Band-Aid. Kala gulped down an aspirin with the water supplied in the fridge and unpacked her belongings. Soon, she settled on the upholstered couch facing the window, then kicked off her shoes before turning on her electronic tablet. She checked her diary. Allegra had left London a week ago via St. Petersburg, and then on to Berlin. Kala waited on the sofa, staring at the unresponsive phone as she dressed her wound with a thin plaster. Her eyes moved toward the window, taking in the details of the suite. She smiled. The first-class treatment was Allegra's style. How much did she know about Allegra, even after spending so much time with her? Was Biermann right? If the Hatrius existed and was a legitimate artifact, what was it exactly? The British government wanted it, let alone the other 4. If anyone could decipher the historical riddles around this manuscript, it would be Allegra. Alice stroked her forehead and guzzled down more cold water. Her eyes shut as the aspirin worked its drowsiness through her bloodstream. Central London, 3 p.m. Nash found his car a few steps from the U.S. Embassy. Gray clouds above showed no leniency. They scattered across the London skyline, creating an overcast blanket that sent a cold current through the darkening city. The wind picked up, bringing with it a heavy mist that obscured vision. He fastened his leather jacket, then pulled open the door to his new BMW and checked his cell phone for messages. None. Calla had left the meeting early only a couple of days ago at the Hadrius briefing. It wasn't like her to go without a word to him. Nash checked the rearview mirror, only to glimpse at the tiny scar on his chin, undetectable to the naked eye. He smiled to himself. That's how he'd first met Calla. Charming, inhibited with piercing eyes. Such a curious melange of emerald and amber. Worry sneaked through him, and Calla was at the heart of it. She was in danger. The car ahead of him honked. He winced, needing to make an urgent phone call, and started his engine. Hand on the wheel, he reversed, letting the other vehicle out of the parking space. Then he killed the engine. He reached for the cell phone. The touchscreen lit up as he searched for his attorney's number. With the phone engaged, he waited a few minutes and tried the New York number again before leaving a message. Jonathan, it's Nash. I need to speak with you today. He clicked it off. The cell phone rang twice. He answered it. Jonathan, any news for me? The stakeholders want an agreement soon. I'm sorry, said Jonathan on the other end. Your father refuses to release the funds. Nash's face heated, picturing the actual words his father had probably used. Would the old man not give up? He clenched a fist and brought it down hard on the dashboard. After all this time, Jonathan, doesn't he understand me? You two haven't always seen eye to eye. I know this bothers you. Nash tugged at his collar. Why can't he let go, Jonathan? You're his only child. He only wants the best. George hasn't always accepted your choices, Nash, but he's always been proud of your accomplishments. Nash already knew the answer to his next question. Was there something wrong with the proposal? No, Nash said it was impeccable. I've been your family lawyer for a long time. I think it is purely a conflict of interest. He thinks you could put the money to better use. Nash was quiet for a long time. He would have to revert to plan B. Is there something else, Nash? Jonathan said. Something's up. You are the most patient person I know, and it's not like you. You seem quite focused on this. Are you in trouble or someone you know? A girl, maybe? Nash breathed hard and hesitated before he spoke. She's in trouble. What kind of trouble? I'm not sure yet. Actually, I first saw her at the British Museum. Then we met properly at Denver Airport 3 years ago at check-in. She's actually a curator at the British Museum. We now work together. I need to sort this out before I help her. Now that she's in deep with ISTF, her life depends on what I do. I knew there was a girl involved. What's the issue? Nash let out a quick breath. Her safety. I should have known from the day we met. I was traveling back from a skiing holiday, and she'd been on an anthropological trip to Denver. She rushed to the counter, sure she'd missed her flight. She knocked over my skis. I tried to retrieve them, and as they crashed to the floor, they clipped my jaw. She was horror-struck. I love a damsel in distress story, Jonathan said. That's just it. I was struck and in distress. She's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, Jonathan. First time you've ever talked about a woman, Nash. What happened then? You're a tough guy, and even skies won't bring you down. I cupped my chin with both hands and got quite a few concerned glares from the queue at the American Airlines counter. I then gave her the okay sign and threw my head back, laughing. Nothing was missing or broken, just a slight cut. So Cupid's arrow injured you more than anything else. I see, Jonathan said. Calla's great, Nash said, smiling to himself. She chuckled and begged for someone to produce a first aid kit. She found a Band-Aid in her bag and placed it over my almost non-existent wound. And Then she said the craziest thing to me. Why are you taking skis to London? The long flight back to London with adjacent seats perhaps changed my life. I wanted to get to know her so much so that we chatted the entire 9 hours and 40 minutes. There was something different about her, mysterious. By the time we stepped off the flight at Heathrow, I knew my life had changed. Gosh, he hadn't realized he'd been quiet for several moments. How are you going to help her? Her life's in danger, and I want to close the deal on our project before I help her. She's now with ISTF as a cultural agent. But at that time, neither of us disclosed our links to ISTF until we found ourselves a few months later working on a joint classified case in Jakarta. They have her working on specialized projects for her in-depth knowledge of modern and ancient communication methods. Thought ISTF were the good guys, the specialists then? The best. ISTF has all the expertise they need in her. She pores over artifacts, codes, symbols, and language structures with ease, yet deflates after moments of genius into quietness and allows distance. She understands phonetics, symbols, and history like no one I know. No one is more straightforward and unpretentious. Coupled with a no-nonsense attitude, there's a sadness or even loneliness. I once asked an innocent question, a compliment about her stunning dark hair and her eyes. The amber in them has such an overpowering, an emerald glow. She didn't respond and never has. Maybe she likes to be private, Jonathan said, interrupting his thoughts. Is this business with your father connected to her? Yes, it is, but I can't share more. Not now. If those funds aren't released soon, I'll have to find another way. Someone powerful has marked her. I see, Jonathan said. It's my money, Jonathan. I know, but we need your father's signature. Give it 3 years. When you reach 35, he can't affect your decisions. You can do whatever you like with the inheritance from your grandparents. The silence, even with a typically upbeat Jonathan, was unbearable. I'm with you on this, Nash. We can always try again. Thanks, Jonathan. I know you tried. Nash switched off the phone. Where had it all gone wrong?